Hello and very good evening. I'm Tamal Saha and you have joined me on this platform, which is News the Truth, NTT. Now, before we begin our special broadcast on this Wednesday evening, I want to make an appeal. First thing first, thank you so much for the engagement last evening. I've gone through each and every messages, each and every comment, and I thank you for that engagement. Today and today onwards, we would want to engage with you in this live broadcast. You can ask us questions, you can ask our panel questions, and we would try and address them in a best of our capacity and possibility. You can also give your point of view. You can also leave a comment, which, if time permits, we would also read on this broadcast. Now, what is this broadcast all about? It is about Manipur. Yes, Manipur, our very dear state of our very dear country, India. Manipur had been seeing a wide-scale violence since 3rd of May 2023. Yes, if you ask me now, there had been a slight improvement in situation. What had been almost like an everyday affair back in the month of May or June or July, that veracity has come down to a slight extent. But then there had been incidents reported, not always sporadic in nature. And every time, every incident of violence has put forth and brought back the same question. Same question. What's going wrong with Manipur? What has been going so wrong, so bad with Manipur for so long? There is no government data as on date as what is the current statistic of casualties, or what is the current statistic on number of people displaced, and what is the current status of those displaced. How many people have been rehabilitated? How many people have been able to go back to their land? And whether the divide, which we all know exists in Manipur, between the valley and the hills, is the divide still there? If yes, why? If no, where is the proof? Because I was there in Manipur last December. I was there in Manipur in the month of January. And till date, there is a road which is linking the valley part with the hills, and in between the road there is something called buffer zone, which is completely under the control of armed forces, just to ensure nothing untoward happens. If you are wondering why we are discussing Manipur tonight, it is because Union Home Minister Amit Shah had put out a social media post last evening, and I will read out that post. It said, "The Modi government is committed to building impenetrable borders. It has decided to construct a fence along the entire 1,643 kilometer long Indo-Myanmar border. To facilitate better surveillance, a patrol track along the border will also be paved. Out of the total border length, a 10-kilometer stretch in More, Manipur, has already been fenced. Furthermore, 2 pilot projects of fencing through a hybrid surveillance system are under execution. They will fence a stretch of 1 kilometer each in Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur. Additionally, fence works covering approximately 20 kilometers in Manipur have also been approved, and work will start soon." Essentially indicating that Manipur, as a state, the border it shares with Myanmar, which is considered to be absolutely porous, vulnerable, and instrumental equally in contributing as far as the violence, ongoing violence is concerned, will now be fenced. There is no time period within how many days or how many years. But the Union Home Minister, if you recall, back in the month of August, during the no confidence debate, had acknowledged that because the entire terrain is so porous and there had been free transaction of people, people have come into Manipur, settled, never gone back. That has also, in a way, created or rather contributed to the unrest. And thus, it is important to understand if this decision has come in at the right time. Now, let's make something very clear. We are extremely sensitive towards people staying in the hills, and there are people who are as legitimate and Indian as you and me. And we do not have any right to question their citizenship. If they have the voter card, Aadhaar card, and if they have been approved as a citizen of the country, then they are the rightful citizen of the country. But what essentially we are trying to discuss is about the integrity of our country, safety, security of our country. And thus, on this particular aspect of border fencing, how feasible it is it the right time now or has it come in too late? We are trying to engage into a discussion. And we are trying to engage into a discussion with two retired colonels who have served in Indian Army, who have specifically served in Manipur, and who also very deeply, passionately feel for the land without any bias, without any prejudice. Colonel Sapam and Colonel Manomba both have served in Manipur, and it is a pleasure for me to engage in this conversation with them, and I've chosen them specifically because Indian Army represents no religion, Indian Army represents no community, Indian Army represents no caste, Indian Army represents no bias, no prejudice, Indian Army represents India. And thus, two ex-soldiers who still have the spirit of a soldier in them are trying to engage in this conversation with us here on News the Truth on this platform of NTT. Colonel Sapam and Colonel Manomba, it's such a pleasure to engage with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Tamal ji. Thank
Colonel
you.
Manomba, I want to begin with you. Seniority is always respected. Now that the Home Minister has decided to fence the entire India-Myanmar border, which is 1,643 kilometers, which is spread over multiple states like Mizoram, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, and specifically talking about Manipur, which is 348 kilometers, how do you look at this decision? How do you look at this decision, and do you think geographically it is possible?
Good evening, Tamal, and thank you for engaging me. Firstly, the question is, do you think it is a good decision by the Home Minister, Honorable Home Minister, to declare that he will be engaging in the border fencing of the entire stretch from Pangsu Pass to the south, uh, tip of corner between India and Mizoram and Bangladesh? Now, this is a very good decision. Although I would add that it is a bit late, but however late, it is still a good decision to fence it, decide to fence it. The question is, how long will it take? How many years will it take? How many thousands of crores will it take? Those are the big questions that still remains. And also that, will this fencing itself resolve or stop the illegal migrations or illegal immigrations that take place, or any other illegal activity that take place across the border between India and Myanmar? We are we are specifically concerned about the all the illegal activity that goes on across the border from Myanmar into India, be it incidents, be it the smuggling, be it the narcotics, be it guns, be it human trafficking, or be it illegal immigrants flowing into our country. Now, the border fencing has to be there whether people like it or not, whether people decide or protest against it. Yes, there will be protests, there will be representations which will be examined by the Home Minister and the Home Ministry and the Government of India. However, I feel that this is the right decision taken, though a bit late, and it needs to be it needs to be reinforced with lots of management on the border area. Completely not leave it to the border fencing alone. That's what I would say about this decision. Yeah, Tamal.
All right. Colonel Sapam, your first thought before we engage into the depth and the nitty gritty of the entire, the entire idea. I want to get an idea of your first thought and reaction to the Home Minister's announcement that India will now execute this plan of fencing the entire border.
Yeah. Tamalji, 1,643 kilometers is something, this distance is something like from Imphal to UP. It's so long. And Indian government is ready to shed out this budget to fence it. And India would, Indian government, central government is not foolish to do it, to decide this. There's a lot of reasons. It is not only for the clash between cookies and Meiteis. No, it's got a lot of political, geopolitical issues in that. Our neighbors, we have to keep our neighbors. What is happening over there, immediate Burma, though they are not so, they are not so dangerous for us. But then, very frankly speaking, China is there, basically. So geopolitically, the government of India has decided that yes, this is a must, and we must do it. Though we have to shed out, these budgets. Now, what happened is in Kolkata. I'll just ask you one question, or anywhere in the country, if it is a housing complex, there are walls in between the housing complexes, and if it is a residential area, and over there also, and in Manipur also, we have fences, right? Why is it so? We are all Indians. There should be no fence, no wall. We should be just going around. Are we more concerned about the brothers and sisters that side rather than this side? And this is one question which is there in my mind. Are we more concerned about the brothers and sisters who are in Burma rather than thinking about the brothers and sisters who are already staying over here? 1951, the government of India has decided that is the date for NRC. And if it is there, then all those who are here before that, we are all brothers and sisters. There's no question about that. But the question is, after that, any Tom, Dick, Harry cannot come to India. If they come, they have to come through preferred channel. Like, for example, I am from the Meitei community, and in Bangladesh, or let's say in Burma also, in Myanmar, many Meiteis are there. They are in pathetic conditions. But if they want to come, will we allow? No. They have to come through process of law. And one more thing is there are three countries, two already fenced now. One is Pakistan, one is Bangladesh, and the other neighbor is, let's say, like we are going to fence now, is Burma. Economically, India is much better. So let's take an example in Kolkata. If there is a economically better person residence in Kolkata, so some people will try to sneak in, na? People will try to sneak in, take something, jo bhi hai, karega. They will come and see and what is happening around. So those people, in Myanmar, junta problem is there right now, and those brothers and sisters, they would like to come this side because it's a safer place, it's a better place, It is economically much better, more comfortable. So obviously, they will like to come here.
Well, Colonel Sapam, okay, I get the point, but what I'm trying to understand is that if there is a political crisis in Myanmar, it is known to one and all. You don't have to depend on any secret intelligence. It's an open intel. And if you are running a government, if you have a government, you also have your own intelligence collection mechanism. So if there is something about to happen, that too should be known to you, if not to common people, at least people in the helm of power, they would know, right? Now, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, on the floor of the Parliament in the month of August, has admitted that there was a huge influx and that their registration was also done in the no voter list or no Aadhaar card list. My point is, if you have a neighboring country which is restive, if you have a neighboring country which is sensitive, should you be more wary, should you be more cautious, and should you act in accordance to that? Or should you wait for something to happen in Myanmar and then decide accordingly as how to safeguard your own country?
I'll just give you one example. When I was young, that was sometimes in the late 60s. That time, in Thangweban, I say in Thangweban, that is in the heart of the city in Nepal. So over here, one friend used to come here with a big roe fish and told his friend, "Ki bhai, you give me some zamini over here. Give me some land. I want to settle down here." And the piece of land was exchanged for that big roe fish. That was the time. And now things are different. Totally different now. So what happened before and what is happening now, there has to, this development is because of the current scenario basically. And in the current scenario in Manipur, a big clash has taken place, and one party is asking for, commenting illegal migrant, and all these things. And India, government of India, basically, we have a lot of agencies over here, so they know what are the exact information, what is happening around over here, from this side, that side, and from everywhere. Now, as far as the fencing is concerned, the need, currently the need for fencing is felt by the center, and the fencing cannot be just done in 1 or 2 years. When I was posted in Shillong, when this fencing of Bangladesh was taking place, I was the person who was sending the report to Eastern Command about the progress of the fencing. Every month I used to send the report. So how much was the development? So it takes time. It takes a lot of time. But then looking after the
Absolutely,
future.
absolutely. We do understand it takes a lot of time, and it is bound to take a lot of time. No matter what you say or what you don't say, you cannot ignore the fact that it is entirely a mountainous terrain, and it is not so easy to kind of go there, build a pillar, and put some barbed wires. It is a difficult terrain. We are very much aware of it. What we are trying to understand, and this question is to Colonel Manomba, when you say that it is late, how late it is, and do you think India, independent India, this is not about A government, B government, India has been independent for so long, there had been so many governments, do you think this should have been done way before?
Tamal, I think what the need was, if we had to construct the border fencing, it was yesterday and not tomorrow. So between the yesterday and tomorrow, I will not quantify. Tomorrow means it was 5 years back, 10 years back, 20 years back, or 30 years back, but it certainly should have been done earlier, much earlier, in whatever time frame was possible, because these are all developmental. It's a progressive development of the country in every aspect, because everything requires money, everything requires funds. So the funds have to be channelized as per the justification given by the respective departments. So now that decision has been taken, now it is good that it has not been delayed till tomorrow. I mean, the decision making process. I'm talking about the decision making. what I agree to what Colonel Sapam says, that it is going to take a many years, if not decades, to fulfill this promise of fencing the entire 1,643 from Pangso Pass till Chittagong Hills. It will take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever, depending on
So, so
the.
no,
So
I absolutely. But Colonel Sapam, what happens then? What happens then? You know, it will take years now. So, how to control this situation? Well, as I once again repeat my position, I'm no way insinuating people with absolute legal credentials proving their citizenship. I'm not questioning their citizenship at all. And I'm not questioning as whether they're Indian or not. I will never do that. I will never ever do that. I absolutely feel for the people of Manipur, irrespective of the fact which side they live. But here we're only focusing on the national security and the integrity of the country. So, Colonel Sapam, I want to ask this question to a retired colonel. When we say it's going to take very long, what happens in this interim period? Will this vulnerability continue? Because again, you can't go ahead and flatten the mountain. You can't go ahead and chop off all the trees. They stay, the mountain stays, the geography stays. How do you plan to improve the situation if fencing itself would take such a long time?
Tamalji, the fencing is going to take a lot of time, and a lot of fund is also required for this. Now, it's a good beginning. I think it is a good beginning. There is some difference of opinion from different section. What I would like to say is, if different section, if they feel that there is a affinity with them in all those things, then there should be different gates, and waha se, from there they can take part and come and go that way. That way also can be done. But then it's not that you should be allowed ki "Eh, aa gaya, ja gaya, chala gaya, ho gaya, kha la, pee la." No, yeah, that is not. I don't think it is correct. So
Colonel Sapam,
free regime.
No, Colonel Sapam, I'm sorry to interject you, but I have
Ah.
also done a lot of stories on India-Bangladesh border, okay? Now,
Mhm.
especially the border which is there in the state of West Bengal. Now, I do understand that, you know, there is a long history. Now, there are people who are settled on the other side of the barbed wire, and they, or people settle on this side of the barbed wire, they go into the territory of Bangladesh, and which is legally permissible as per the treaty between two countries for farming and for other work, and they also come back. But going and coming back, or coming into India and then going back, has a legal channel, has a
Yes.
permissible route, right? There are designated gates which would open, they would shut down at a particular time, and people have to enter through those gates alone. Do you think, do you think such a machinery requires intent? And I ask you this question because when you talk about More, where there has been a lot of incidents of violence in the past couple of weeks, do you think there had been a lack of intent on part of security establishment in keeping a strong vigil? If there is any failure on part of the state government?
See, Tamalji, I have been telling from before that the state government, the ball has gone out of state government. It has to be acted by the center. That is what I feel. And if the center is very firm, a lot of negotiations are required, calling the dignitaries to Delhi, and then spoken of with CSOs and all those things. Openly, it can be open also. There's no problem. There should be transparency. What has been conspired between the parties. And the center has to make the parties understand the implications of various things. So to sort of, table is the only means, negotiation is the only means, I think, that it can be sorted out. And in the meantime, my sincere request to both the sides is, do not attack each other and stay for some time, and then we must try to solve the problems. Now, the people, my brothers and sisters, my Tais also, and cookies, nagas, and all those things, those who are staying from before, we are all brothers and sisters. But those people who come after us, they are not. Very clear about that. So we should be very firm on this, and India central government also should be very firm on this. And the same goes for me, for my community also. If Meiteis want to come from Burma, then they cannot be allowed. They have to come
Well,
through process of law, basically. So
right.
that has to be
Col-
done.
Colonel Manomba, the Union Home Minister, I clearly remember on the floor of the Parliament in the month of August, while responding to the no confidence debate, had said that there is a long border which is not even fenced, and they have started the process. They intend to do this, do that, and he also referred to the fact that there are there had been a process in place, and that process had been those who came, they were given registration, they were given a certain document, because of what, they were not allowed to get a voter card or an Aadhaar card. All that I'm trying to understand is, if the government since 2021, and the Union Home Minister said, since 2021 the process had begun. So from 2021, if the process had begun and they tried identifying illegal immigrants and people who have come in and taken shelter, could they have initiated the NRC process in a way, after taking people of all sides into confidence, so that there is no breach to peace and harmony?
See, NRC, we were talking about the border fencing, but now that the NRC thing has been raised, now NRC, National Register of Citizens, it also is a essential part of the mechanism to monitor the movement of people from across the border to this side or that side. Basically, we want to keep a register to ensure that who all are having staying are the legal, original legal residents or citizens of the part of the country. Now that is what the NRC is. So whether sooner or later it will have to come into play. Now again, like the border fencing decision taken, NRC should have been taken earlier. Why it was not taken, how much of delay, I'm not going to that. But it is an essential part of the mechanism to regulate the movement of people. Number one. But again, NRC, if it is implemented, the decision is taken to implement the NRC. Again, there will be a problem in implementing it physically, because if the census of the state has not been conducted for 2021 as per the requirement of the country, then the requirement of census also means that there people have to go physically to go and check in the villages and then find out who all are there. Similarly, NRC also will be requiring people to go on the ground. So who is going to go to the villages in the remote areas where very little accessibility is there, or very little intention or willingness of the people officials to go and then do the census or registration of the citizens? Ultimately, it cannot be somebody coming from Delhi or Bombay or some other place and doing the NRC. It has to be done by the locals only, and that too locals based. When I say locals, it has to be done from somebody from Sajik Tampak, or it has to be done somebody from the local villages of New Samtal or Tusom or Ukrul or whatever. So those are the implementing difficulties that will come in. Those challenges will come in, but NRC must come in set in sooner or later. So these are the various mechanisms, like the border fencing, like the NRC, or the FMR, which is to be again debatable, to be removed, not removed. So these are the various mechanisms that are to regulate. The intention of the country is to safeguard its borders, so that besides the enemy, besides the physical armed military personnel from across
Right.
attacking, it has also got to be the other elements getting into the country. That is the whole
Col-
intention.
Colonel Sapam, just decode this for our viewers. You must have gone to More many a times. You must have gone to, the other border areas of Manipur, the bordering Myanmar. Just give me an idea. When people come, when people enter into India, is there a registration desk? And is it mandatory to go through that desk, or is there also a way to escape it?
When I went up to Tamu. Tamu is a
Uh-huh.
town in Burma, which is around, let's say, around 6 to 8 kilometers, I think. So there was nothing. I went there. I just went there with my friends, and then we came back. We had food and all. We came back, and like that, they also come. There's nothing much there, and that is the place where security people are there, security people's man. But what happened is, I have many Jawans. I have many Jawans from my regiment in the villages, in the far from where there is no security guards. Over there, they can just go. They can laze around and come, and then things like that. They can get married from there, and then they come.
Exactly what I want to ask here is, if your Jawans have given you such a feedback, which means there was also lapses on our side. While I do understand that there cannot be one police officer or one army personnel or one Jawan for every citizen of this country, but is it that humanly impossible, is what I'm trying to understand. Is it that humanly impossible to form an intelligence base and to also have, a surveillance on what's happening around? Is it that impossible over there?
See, before it was not much of a problem. The population this side was not much, and Burma was quite okay. Myanmar was quite okay. But now there's a lot of turmoil in Myanmar, and it's not going to end. In that country also, it's not going to end. And the geopolitical problems are, amounting day by day. So, as of now, the thing which I was talking about, it is not feasible as of now. And having int network, it is not enough. You have to have physical barrier in the form of fence or by guarding the whole entire border if we have to stop this. Now, why it is required? Because when fencing or let's say influx is not stopped, then we are having turmoil in our own country, in our own state. So what I'm going to say is we should continue having turmoil in our own state and help those foreigners. Our country, we must think about our country first, or we must think there first. This is my question. So, keeping that in mind, keeping geopolitical problems, the central government has taken certain steps to fence the borders as well as NRC. It's a very positive step, I would say. It's a very positive step, I would say. But some communities, they may object on this. That keep my brothers and sisters are across that side also. Fine, it is fine. But there has to be a gates बनाए अलग अलग से entry बनाए, and then you can man the gate, and then they can come if required. They can come and they can go back. That is what I'm saying. There has to be some accountability, which any Tom Dick Harry should not be allowed to come this side or that side. That is my contention.
No, but do you find this believable that if there is a situation of turmoil emerging in the neighboring Myanmar, we will not be upping our own guards? I'm only curious to understand that, as much as I empathize that it is humanly not possible possibly to erect physical border or barbed wires miraculously overnight between India and Myanmar across 1,643 kilometers. But is it believable that we had no intelligence about the influx which is happening? And if we had any intelligence, have we done enough to control it?
Intelligence must be there, but we have not tried to control it. This is what I feel. That is why it is happening. Now,
Okay,
one thing is there. One thing which I would like to submit over here is, the in the fencing there are four states. Four states are involved. That is Mizoram, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, and Manipur.
right,
Mizoram. Let's talk about Mizoram. Mizos. Mizos are very particular about their communities. They are very particular. They may say, brothers and sisters from Myanmar and all those things, let them say anything. If I go to Mizoram, there is a place called Verengte, just starting of Verengte from Silchar. Wahape, that time, I'm talking about way back in 89, 1989. That time there was seven gates, and one gate checks I card, and another one, and another one. Seven gates are there. It's so difficult to go through. I was an army officer, so there was no problem for me. But any person, non-Mizo, going through that gate, they have to go through that seven gates. That is number one. Mizos are very clear on that. Whether they have fence or not, they are going to, if any Kukijo people come, they are going to register it, they are going to keep it, they are not going to be considered as Mizos, they will never be given voter card or Aadhaar card. Mizos are very clever on this. Now let's go to Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh is very long, very vast, and very isolated in that way in the border. And defense forces are deployed very well. Okay? So that is Arunachal Pradesh. Now, as far as Nagaland is concerned, Nagaland, they are all Nagas, they are all Christians. And when we talk about Mon district, Konyaks, in the Naga Myanmar hills also, Konyak are there, then Mon this side in India also, they are there. Affinity is there, there's no doubt about that. But they are all Christians, okay? They are all Christians, they are all Nagas, so similarity and identity is there. There's no much of clash over there. But now let's talk about Manipur. Most complicated state, I would say, in India is Manipur. Now I'll tell you, Wahape, Meiteis are there, Nagas are there, Kukis are there, and the Meitei Pangals are there. There, I would talk about the ethnicity is so, diversity is so vast. Diversity is so vast. If anyone does anything, other one minds it. If anyone does anything, other one gets angry. Okay, there are a lot of chances of clash amongst the communities. So in case of Manipur, so that there is no mistake for zero error syndrome up to certain extent, fencing is a must. Fencing is a must. Because if some people are coming from that side, let's say even the Naga side or the Tuki side or the Motu side, other community is going to go down. And
no,
the
but
other chap is,
no, but Colonel Manomba, do you think India could have started this work back in 2000, 2001, 2002? Do you think it should have started by then?
Yes, why not? It could have started much earlier. Now the question is, see, when a decision of this nature is to be taken, there are a lot of factors, specifically the geopolitical and then other issues, influences from across the border. Now, I will just regarding the border fencing, I will just bring out three important issues, aspects. One, along the line of control in Kashmir and the others are Pakistan, or whether Pakistan occupied Kashmir, wherever our borders are there, a line of control, they have, in spite of the much more difficult terrain, much more mountainous, difficult terrain than what exists here, the, the government or the armed forces have already done the fencing. That is one. Second, even in those parts where we were deployed earlier, I mean, I was there in Uri sector in the LOC area and then much earlier other places. Even there, they have their these communities living, families, familial ties across the border, across the LOC. So they would take permission and then go across and then come back. What similar to something like FMR here. There is no FMR there, but at at a very local level, they were permitted for a couple of hours and then go come back and then meet their so the relatives and blood relationships are always there on both sides of the border, whether it is here or a western sector or in the eastern sector. That is the second point. The third point is, as far as the time and resources, money, funds are concerned, the government, if I were there to take a decision, I would have divided the 1,643 kilometers into specific hot zones or priority zones. For example, right now, to my mind, the most important out of this 1643 is the 398 kilometers of Manipur, Myanmar, the border, Manipur section of the Indo-Myanmar border. This is the most essential part of the entire border fencing that is required. I am sure that the Home Ministry, along with its all the input that they get from intelligence sources and the planning at the various levels, they would be uh, examining which part is to be given priority. So we should not look at the decision is for 1,643. However, the construction will begin for this stretch first, that stretch second, and the remaining third. So, to my mind, the 398 kilometers of Manipur a section of the border is the most essential. Even in that, we will have to divide our. We will have. If I was asked for advice, I would have said there are again we have to subdivide this entire 400 kilometers into four parts. There are four parts of this border, starting from Jasami border pillar number 130-31, right to More 23, and up to border pillar 40 in the Mizoram tri-junction between Mizoram and Myanmar. So in this entire 400 odd kilometers, we will have to divide it and then see which is the most crucial part of the where all the illegal activities are taking place. So if we have been able to identify those zones or sections, then the problem can be handled at a much better fashion. And the last point about the border fencing is that it is not the fencing alone. There is to be a complete system of border management, the fencing, the intelligence feedbacks from across through the RAW or the SB from within, and then also the patrolling mechanism, the continuous border guarding troops checking. Then, besides that, the
You feared there was intelligence failure, and you fear there was lack of intent on the part of India.
see the intelligence part that may not have been there adequately. What I'm trying to say is, it's not a failure. That may not have been adequate because there are thousands of inputs coming in, and then it has to be monitored. I mean, screened and then collected and then sent up. Now, where the priority is, we are looking at the say, let's say China border or the northern border or the western border. We're looking purely at the adversary, that is either Pakistan or China, physically attacking into or crossing into the our part of the country along with the or through the proxy war. Whereas in the Myanmar, the government of Myanmar, Junta or Tatmadaw, whichever is there, they have been that threat has not been there. Even now, it is not there. There is no threat from the Myanmar government or the Tatmadaw that they will come and occupy our land or they will intrude. However, this proxy war, which again is a part of the overall bigger the design of the, I would say the Chinese design is always there behind the in the shadows. So that part has not been given adequate weightage in the input. That is what I'm trying to say. And as far the intent is concerned, if the input or the assessment of the significance of this is less, then the decision making also gets delayed. So it is not a fault as such, but it is there's a I want to look at a certain something from my point of view. That's what we have been looking at. We have not been looking at Myanmar. We have been looking at Myanmar entirely as a friendly neighborhood. That has been the
Well,
problem.
right. We are running out of time. So, Colonel Sapam, uh, you know, we are not holding anyone responsible. We are not saying this government hasn't done anything. But whoever is there in power will at some point have to answer. Do you think this government has answered enough to win the confidence of the people? Because we are talking in the aftermath of a situation in Manipur which has claimed hundreds of lives. Thousands of people are displaced. There had been a clear divide in the state. There had been arms coming into the country, and they are all been acknowledged by the government of the day. Their arms have been come in, which have also gone into the hands of young people, which has also put forth a massive threat for India's own integrity and security. My only question is, today you decide that I would be fencing the entire border of India and Myanmar. Very good, do that. You make an announcement. But this is an afterthought of an action which has already happened, or a situation which has already emerged. How do you win back public confidence? Because as you rightly said, like, they have proposed, they intend to do this, some would oppose, which means there would be another point of friction, which means that friction, if it turns out to be too serious, then it would delay or derail the entire process. And again, things would get pushed into the into a cold storage. So, do you think the government of the day has done enough to earn, or rather win back the confidence of the people, take everyone into confidence, explain to them that this is about India's own integrity, and thus we plan to do this?
Yes. As far as the government is concerned, what I feel is government is required to do more to curtail the problem in Manipur. But the fencing is a very positive action which they are going to take, because for the future it will help everyone who is staying over here, for the safety of the people in Manipur. And NRC also should be done, but the government must be proactive now to solve the problem in Manipur,
Do
central
you,
government.
no,
And
do you think the government has been active enough to solve the problem?
I feel it is still wanting. Matlab, they could have done more. They could have done more. That is what I feel. But it's not so easy. Also, it's not so easy to just control the situation. It's not so easy now, because the border was not even porous. When we say the border was porous, no, it is not porous. It is open and porous are they very different. So this was a mistake on the part of the government also, and maybe because you had asked one question that it could have been done in 2000, could have started in 2000. Well, India, you know, fencing and all these things, it's a big budget. It's a very difficult task. Labors and the various materials, things have to come. It's not so easy to conduct this what do you call project. Basically, it's not so easy, but it's a good thing that it's a good start. And I think in the center also must have understood. Fencing is very important because Golden Triangle was shifting towards Manipur. Golden Triangle. That is again a very dangerous thing, not only for Manipur, for the entire country as such. So it's shifting from the east to Manipur. Very dangerous thing, and um, uh, uh, illegal immigrant, you know it already. So this things should be clear in the mind, and the center must call the CSOs and the government, and they should not call only the cookie MLAs. They should call combine also, and then negotiate karo, wahan pe baatcheet karo. Just not negotiate, just talk it out. I would say not negotiate.
No, but
Negotiation is I'll give you this and I'll give you that. No, it is not that. Center
no,
has to make the people understand what is it.
Colonel Sapam, I have seen I've interacted with a lot of soldiers in Manipur, outside Manipur, and I'm talking to two soldiers now, two ex-soldiers, and I've always found something very intriguing: the josh of our forces. When you talk to our jawans, when you talk to our forces, when you talk to our soldiers, they say, हम कर लेंगे, देश हमारे लिए सबसे आगे है, हम जान दे देंगे देश को बचाने के लिए. So, Indian Army or armed forces, they say that we can do anything and everything for the country, for our motherland. Can Indian Army or overall Indian armed forces would have solved this situation long back if they were given a free hand?
This is India only, and we are all Indians. So if you give the thing to army the way they're supposed to do, the government, that means the government is not there. So since the local government is there, the government is given the power to rule your own, administer your own people. They are all Indians, our own countrymen. So it is, I would say, there was a lot of lacking from the government side, both the state as well as the center government. The state government as such, in your home, your father is the head of the family, so he controls the family members basically. So like that, the state government has to control the the administration of the state, and if there is a problem, the center also has to intervene. Now the ball has gone out of the state now, so the center has to intervene and then make the people responsible. But you also come, and what is your problem, and hey, you have to, center has to sort this out. Now only the center can sort it out. That is what I believe.
No, but the fact that Home Minister Amit Shah's tweet began with these words: "The Modi government is committed." The Modi government is committed, which means Prime Minister Modi's government is committed to building impenetrable border. Prime Minister Modi hasn't even visited Manipur. Prime Minister Modi so far has only spoken twice about Manipur. One outside Parliament, after one video came to fore that was roughly about 30 to 40 seconds, and thereafter inside the Parliament while responding to the no confidence debate, which was incidentally on the 100th day since violence began in Manipur, and he spoke roughly about. It was one of the longest speeches any Prime Minister has given inside the Parliament, but then the portion on Manipur was proportionately lesser than everything else that he has spoken about. So the Prime Minister's government is committed to building impenetrable borders. Has this awakening happened little late?
No, he must be thinking a lot actually. It's not that he must be just keeping, though he is keeping quiet. He and his party must be thinking a lot to how to go about the thing, because it's a very sensitive issue now, and like they have said that it is committed in the near future. Let's say 1 or 2 months, or let's say after the election, they may do certain action, constructive actions to settle the problems in Manipur. That is my strong belief as such. But if they have announced that there would be fence, if they are saying that openly, so they must have taken and discussed various things. This is what I believe. They will definitely do, I think.
Final,
But
final word to final word to Colonel Manomba. What's your expectation now? How do you see things panning out from here?
Tamal is like this. Before I go to the final words, I just wanted to have a point of view about the armed forces or the army resolving the issues very quickly. Now, what I would like to say, submit, is that the kind of problem that is existing right now in Manipur, it is the responsibility of the state civil governance to resolve it in whichever best possible manner it can. The armed forces, the central armed police forces, the paramilitary forces, everybody is there to assist the state government or the central government. It is not exactly the armed forces are supposed to meant to be fighting the armed militants. If if the armed militants who are threatening the integrity of the country is existing, then it can be the armed forces can act on it. Now the problem here is the armed forces have not been able to act because of the 25 militants from the Cookie Joe community have been under suspension of operations, as a result of which no actual military action can be taken against them as per the understanding between which was signed in 2008 18. So because of that, though the military is not the solution. What I'm trying to say is the military giving the entire responsibility to the armed force and military to
No, but
solve.
you are saying military. No, you are saying military is not a solution. I do understand there is a suspension of operation treaty, but you are saying military is not a solution, even though there is armed AFSPA, active over there.
AFPA is active, but then legally the cookie 25 cookie militants are not cookie militants, and they are not supposed to
Sir,
lay.
let's not name a community. I will not approve that. You can't say
Okay,
a militant is a
yeah,
militant. I
yeah.
will not
So
approve that of calling a militant by the name of a community. No, a militant is a militant.
all right,
There
what?
are there are rightful citizens belonging to a particular
So
community who are there in the hills, and there are rightful citizens who are there in this side of the valley, and they belong to a different community. So let's not get into calling
what happened?
militants by the name of the
Okay,
community. I'm just trying to understand if a militant is a militant who is in possession of arms, who is a threat to the society, and you have AFSPA in place. Now, this militant could be could be from any community. I don't care. I'm saying if a militant has come in, infiltrated into our Indian territory illegally, could our military who are responsible for monitoring the border or be there in the hills, armed forces, paramilitary forces, could they have done more? That's all I'm trying to understand.
if you remember, recollect the statements given by the highest authority of the armed forces or the government, the military is there to aid the state government in restoring law and order. It is not there to fight the militants as of now in this present scenario. And who are the militants? The proscribed, the the groups which have been proscribed by the government, the home ministry, as per their orders. So the armed forces will act against those proscribed militant groups or the insurgent groups, but only against those who have been proscribed or declared as banned. That is why the restriction of armed forces operating. Without going into that, first point I wanted to make out that armed forces is military is the solution, is not the solution for the problem that is existing now. And it will be incorrect to say that the army is there, that should have solved it a long time back. That may not be the right thing. And the last point that I want to submit is that beside this, the military point, the home ministry or respective honorable home minister's decision or announcement to face the border, however late it may be, not late from his point of view, but maybe from the overall perspective, from the larger, history of the country, although it may be late, however, it is the first step towards a solution that is intriguing the Manipur crisis for the last 9 months. I think this is a very strong strong step. The first step, the most difficult, and I'm sure it gives a hint or the direction on which the central government is to act. Thank you.
Colonel Manomba and Colonel Sapam, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. It was an insightful discussion. And as I began by saying, we are not we are not trying to castigate somebody. We are not trying to blame anyone. We do understand that the situation is not that simple. There are multiple layers, and one of the layers is also called geopolitics. We all understand that. But at the same time, we also understand the fact that people of Manipur have suffered a lot. People of Manipur have suffered a lot, and that's the reason there has to be a better tomorrow. Sooner it comes, better for us as a country, better for Manipur, better for everyone. Yes, it is a welcome step, as being said by both the gentlemen, both the retired colonels. But you also know there will be resistance coming in the way. There are people who have not appreciated this. And there would also be coming other challenges in the way of the government. It is the job of the government to take everyone into confidence and ensure that road ahead has only one objective in mind for one and all, for the government, for the people of the country, for the people of Manipur, for people everywhere. It is India's own integrity, India's own safety. While people have lost their lives in Manipur, irrespective of which community they belong to, it has been a suffering for the whole country. And thus, this suffering has to come to an end. The wounds have to heal. And the Home Ministry has announced that the fencing work would begin shortly. It could be a Herculean task, but most importantly, it can only begin by taking everyone into confidence. Thank you for watching. Good night. Do leave your comments on the comment section. Do let us know what you exactly think. Give us your feedback on this very sensitive issue. Yes, it's a very sensitive issue. It is not a rocket science which can solve this crisis, and you're all mindful about it. The fact that it has taken so long has only given a lot of reasons for us to feel agonized and worried. And thus, we say your comments should also be equally sensitive. Please, please, please be sensitive towards the situation. It is not right to hit out at A or B. And such verbal diatribes will only foster further distrust. This distrust can lead us nowhere. We can only say one thing: there is no alternative to peace. There is no alternative to harmony. There is no alternative to India's own integrity, safety, and security. We have to agree to it. There too, we don't have an alternative. Thank you for watching. Good night. Take care.
Thank you.